Coming up next on Live Talkback, 3 of Madison's well-known media talents. In no particular order, we have Natasha Kassulke from the Wisconsin State Journal, Wendy Warren from WKOW TV, and Katy Sai from WISC TV. What makes these women do what they do? Who are they? Really, who are they? Inquiring minds want to know, and it's your chance to ask the questions next. Give us a call at 270-9933, or else I'll call you.
You're watching TVW, the Television Wisconsin Network. This is Live Talkback.
Hi, it's me, Dave. Well, we're back here again, and today we talk about women in media. Now, as I said, I am probably the luckiest man on probably the face of the entire planet, except for, of course, the guy defending the kids from different strokes. With me, we have Natasha Kassulke. Hi, that's her right there. Natasha, how are you?
Good.
Looking lovely.
Thanks.
You
are awesome.
The daisy, the whole. I feel lovely.
I've just returned from the Spice Girls, actually.
Did you really? Or are you making that up? I'm
Last
watching.
week I went to the show in Milwaukee.
And
We'll
picked
get to
up
that.
some fashion tips.
all right.
The little shirt's proof of that. Speaking of fashion tips, one of the most fashionable people I know, Wendy Warren. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. We found out, by the way, we have a mutual friend, and we'll get into that
That's
later.
right.
And next to me, a person who has told me openly she doesn't care for me, Katy Sai.
I have?
No, I like to pretend. Because if I get to that right up front, then later on it's no
all
surprise
right,
to
okay.
anybody.
Well, now there's no drama. So
Well,
you
see,
keep
we
that
gotta
for
build
later.
that to the
then
end of the
you build
show.
that, okay.
Later on, we'll find out if she actually cares for me or not. I don't think she does. So we're going to start out actually with the tougher questions. I don't care. I know it's a hard question. I'm going to ask it. I guess this applies to all 3, which is why I'm going to ask, because some will only apply to Natasha, being that you're in print. Correct?
Right.
Is that what they call it, print?
Right.
I'm just making sure. And you guys being the TV people that you are. And I've watched you for quite some time. Not necessarily on TV. So that should worry. Do you find that there is a quote-unquote boys club in the broadcasting industry? Do you think it is as sexist as people say it is? I'll ask you first, Wendy, because you're from another network and I want to make you feel at home.
And you want to put me right on the spot. You know, yes and no. I mean, I think it depends on how much you want to look for it and how much it actually impacts you on a situation by situation kind of deal. But I don't know. I mean, there have been situations where, yeah, I felt like it's very much an old boys club, and there have been other situations where I felt like everyone's just kind of treated like people, and it really isn't there. But there aren't as many people, I think, in management, and as many women in management as there probably could be.
That's something I want to strike on today, and before I do that, again, I'm interrupting before I give Katy Sai a chance to answer, which is why she doesn't like me.
Oh, Dave, I was going to tell you that's a good opening for your statistics.
Oh, see, she's going to help me out already.
Help you
That's why
segue
Katy's
right
here.
in.
She's helped me out, as
Some
you can see.
learning
Can you see that?
experience.
Can you get a shot of that at all? Can you tell what magazine that is? You probably can't, so I'll just tell you. It is Broadcasting and Cable, and right here on the cover it says, Women on the Verge of a Breakthrough. Now, do you think that it might be sexist, the idea even that we have to have this show? In my opinion, shows, sorry, you gotta hold it with both hands, shows that there is a problem. Because, in my opinion, you wouldn't see a show called Men in Media. You wouldn't see from a man's perspective. Because that's all we see all the time. Whether it be fair or unfair, I'm gonna say unfair. I'm gonna go with that. But, because here's the deal. Listen to this. Last week, and I don't know if you know this, and you work at ABC, am I correct? ABC? Owned by Disney,
Yes,
the
I
whole
do.
deal. Patricia Felix-Rochelle was named president of ABC last week. She was already president of daytime programming.
Right.
But she is the first woman to be president of one of the major 3 networks.
It's
and
a
that's
big
now.
move.
And it's a big move, and I'm glad to see it, but it's kind of late. It's kind of been a while for this to happen. Am I wrong about that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it would you could perceive it that way, but I think a lot of it too is you don't want people, women, anybody, to get a job before they're really prepared for it. And it takes time to work your way up through the ranks and get the experience that you need to be qualified for the position and do it well and not make the other people of your gender or race or whatever it is look bad. So I think there's some, validation to taking a while to get there. I think about now is the time we better start doing it. But
Sure. Whether it be women or men, whether it be broadcasting or, as we said, the print medium. Now, are you an assistant editor? Are you an editor of any kind?
No.
You're just a darn well-known
I'm a
writer. Do you know
staff
that?
writer, right. And
Everybody in the
actually
world knows who you are every place you go. Do you know that or not? You came in here, there was mobs of people outside
Right, yeah.
waiting to see you. You've got to learn to pretend, Natasha. That's what it's all about. They don't know.
My fans, right.
Yeah, you're fans.
You know, I don't have an interest in being an editor. I really like being on the front line and meeting people.
You know, we're
writing
going to
about
talk more with you about that after we have commercials and tea. It's like ads in paper. We're going to go to this right now. We're going to take your calls when we come back here on Talkback Live at 270-9933. Talk to Natasha, talk to Wendy, talk to Katy. Don't talk to me. I really talk too much already. Hi, back again here on Live Talkback, and this is an exciting show for me because, as I said, I will never in my life have a chance to be this close to three amazingly talented, amazingly beautiful women like
Dave.
this. Look at me. Go ahead, get a shot of me here at this camera. Look at this. See, that doesn't get near a lot of people. Just people in general. We have callers on the line who would also like to talk to you. I told you, the fans are waiting to speak to you. We have Greg waiting with a question. Greg, what is your question, my good friend?
I was just wondering where Katy Sai was born and where she was raised, and if, by chance, Miss Sai, you were able to speak Thai.
Yes, how did you know that?
Katy
You
Sai.
obviously know where I'm from.
Well, if you're from Thailand, you can speak Thai.
Yes, I was born in Bangkok, Thailand, as I think Greg might know. And I speak Thai not extremely fluently, but enough to get around. My grandmother took care of me when I was young. I lived in Thailand until I was 5, and then I moved to Chicago, but my grandmother raised me, and she speaks only Thai. So, yes, I can speak Thai enough to say, you know, what's for dinner? The chicken's really good, but not like a deep philosophical conversation.
Can you say, hey, fatty, move a little away from me? Can you say that entire
I
time?
can't say that,
Say
no.
I'm safe then, no matter what, I'm okay. Thank you for calling.
Thanks, Greg.
Greg's a great guy. I like Greg. Apparently, he must
call
be a
you a
close
lot?
friend of the family. No, he calls me up, can you speak Thai? I'm like, no, that's Katy. You know, leave me alone, back off. Natasha, finally a question just for you. Very excited, aren't you? Now, see, now you're giving me the snake eye, too. Don't be giving me the snake eye during the
Scare
show.
me sometimes.
I shouldn't scare you as much as I do. Here's a question for you. Do you think when you're doing interviews, like last weekend you saw Fish, and that's with an
I
FH.
didn't.
You didn't
I
get to
didn't,
see them?
no.
Did you interview Fish?
No. I have in the past, but not for that show.
Because I know I've seen an interview with Fish with you. When you interview a band, do they approach you differently? Do they approach the interview differently because you are, and excuse me for saying this might be sexist, an attractive woman?
Usually my interviews are on the phone, so...
Do you tell them I'm an attractive woman? Because I
tell by
sometimes
my
I'll say that
voice.
on the phone and they don't believe me.
But it's interesting. It really depends on the person I'm interviewing. I've interviewed members of KISS who were really difficult. And I'm sure it was because I was a woman, they wouldn't have said some of those things to a man.
Oh, okay.
But I kind of go into it. I know that now. But I think also I ask maybe different questions than they might ask. And sometimes they really seem to appreciate that.
You know, knowing some of the members of KISS, I'm not so sure they wouldn't say those things to a man.
Right. I mean, I dressed up as Paul Stanley, and I was asking him about makeup tips for members of the KISS Army, and I told him I was Paul Stanley, and he said, oh, I hope you don't have as much hair on your chest as I do on mine. And
That's
so,
odd.
yeah.
That's very odd. Do you?
We won't
That's
go
not
there.
good
That's
at all.
for a
That's something
different
we should
show.
stay away from.
That's really
We've got David from Sun Prairie on line 5. David, how are you? David?
Yes, I'll turn her down a little bit.
Okay, turn her down. I don't know what he's referring to when he says her.
Okay.
Is she turned down?
Yes.
You named your TV set a female name. That right there is good. David, what is your question and who's it for?
Well, the question is equality in total. And the whole idea is that, hey, give women all the way, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Number one. Number two, let's say, per se, fire chief.
Mm-hmm.
If she can carry me down, I'm 245, 6'4", down a ladder, let's go for it. Number three, I know the guy used to bounce for many years ago for a cheap trick, in Tokyo and the whole rounds he did there. The whole idea is the media, let the girls go for it, because it is the equality world, and what they are comfortable with, let's say that. Going into a locker room, a whole 9 yards, and let's put the stanza at that.
All right. Well, here's what I want to know. First of all, is how that guy got through with irrelevant nonsense. Second of all, have you ever been put in a position where you feel, as a woman, that you were, like yes, the locker room question, which brings up an interesting question for me. Have you been in a position where, as a woman, you think you were objectified, where you think you were somehow slandered or put in a much worse position simply because you were a woman in the media world? Not necessarily as a bouncer or carrying anybody down a ladder.
Haven't done much of that.
And there's another point. Do you have trouble answering these questions because your male bosses are watching? Like,
Oh,
is it
no.
Oh, no.
Not at all.
No, I think we have trouble answering these questions because we're used to asking these questions.
Right, there you go.
So we're all waiting. I don't feel like I have been discriminated against because I'm a woman. I think all of us, at one point or another, will run into some problems with any kind of individual. But as a whole, I don't feel like I've had significant problems.
Yeah, I haven't really either. I mean, I think maybe because I'm not looking for it. I mean, I always assume if I have a problem with someone that it's for some other reason. I don't assume that it's because of my gender. It may be, and I'm not aware of it, but I don't think so. It's never been that obvious.
I think a lot of my problems are actually because of my gender. I'm not sure what gender means, but we will take a break and find out. During this break, I'll find out what gender means and much more. With your calls, remember, 277-9933. We're taking them. Look at the people who are here. Now we're going to take a look ahead to the 9 o'clock news. This is Cindy Krause. Cindy, what's going on?
Hi, David Company. Remember the McCoy septuplets? We'll give you the latest on them. We'll tell you what HD TV means for you. And if you're thinking about buying a computer for your kids as they head back to school, we'll have some good advice at 9.
If you have any questions, give us a call at 270-9933. The calls are actually pouring in as we speak. But this is something really important. I talked about with Wendy being that it's strange because we are the same age, and yet I'm seeing that we are becoming role models or mentors for some people. Do you see yourselves in media as role models for anyone? As someone who's a young writer, someone who wants to be a newscaster, etc.? Do you see yourself as role models for young women?
I'll tell you, one of the most touching things that happened, a young woman, an Asian girl, probably 12 or 13, called and wanted to come interview me because at their middle school they had to portray women in history. I don't think I qualify yet as a historical figure.
Oh, I think
Sorry.
so. Betsy Ross and then you.
She came, we chatted, and she took notes, and then she sent me this videotape. They had videotaped this little presentation, and women were, like Laura Ingalls and, Betsy Ross, and then she was marched up there, and she was Katy Sai.
Get out of that. That's incredible.
It's the sweetest thing in the world. Yeah. So I guess to know that, I don't think of myself as a role model, but I think if you're aware of it, you can project more what you hope kids will pick up.
Do you have people coming up to you, Tasha, little kids who want to be a writer? And because I know there are kids who do.
I actually do an internship every year through the university, and every year, I think this is going on my 4th year, I've had a woman who's wanted to work with me. So I haven't had a male partner yet.
Well, you do the cool rock and roll stuff, though, too.
Yeah, and there aren't many women writing about rock. So.
Cool. Well, there's you. That's why you're here, by the way, if you're wondering. Because I know you're still giving me the snake eye. I'm gonna. Hey, you know what? This is Dan. Dan from Madison. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you guys?
I'm gonna answer for myself. I'm fine. Go ahead.
This is a familiar voice.
It is a familiar voice, and you should know it, or you're in trouble. But
are you Dan Smith by any chance?
Yes, it is by any
Famous
chance.
musician and TV personality,
right.
Dan Smith.
How are you, Dan?
In 1980, I was hired by a woman, and a woman managed Channel 15. She was a general manager, Lori Leonard, and the next general manager at Channel 15 was a woman, Vicki Street, and I worked for a woman, Geraldine Goodman. And you know what, Katie?
Yes.
We're working for a woman right now.
That's right.
Yes, a woman owns Television Wisconsin, Inc.
Liz Burns.
And you guys owe me a beer, so talk to you later.
Is that it then, Dan?
That's it.
Dan, do you have any other funny or amazing stats about women?
I'm married to one.
Well, there you go, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can't say the same, and I probably never will be able to. Thanks, Dan.
Well, actually, 27 News, Shockley Communications is owned by a woman as well. She and her husband, Terry and Sandy Shockley. And, she manages the whole radio division. She isn't involved in the TV by choice. But yeah, I mean,
I think we may be lucky to live in a market where,
here.
I think we live in a market where I think it's more prevalent and people are more aware to not even think about gender, which I learned during the commercial break, men and women, even to think about what that means or to think about whether or not it matters. And especially in broadcasting, I don't know so much about the print angle, but I think you see that there are more and more women in sales, and that it seems as though they're allowed to represent the station, and yet there's so few women who are people in the broadcast executive positions. Now, do you see that as much in print as well?
I think the managing editors are, men, our publishers, a guy. But definitely within the newsroom, the writers, it seems like there's a fair amount of, equality there. And I work in the features department, which has typically been about, women's issues, lifestyle issues, so it tends to have more women writers, but, I'm seeing that change too as we work in more media and technology.
Cool. Okay. Let's take Lewis. Lewis, hi, how are you?
Good. How you ladies doing?
Good.
Good. Actually, this is going to be for Katy, but mainly for your other two ladies as well. I was just wondering. I know that Katy is married, and we don't know about the other two. But how does the career balance out between that and the marriage, and does it work well? And then I'll get off the phone. But Dave, you need to be on this more often instead of Sly. You're a lot better than he is. That's it.
We just do different things. I got to cut him off.
Did you pay off Lewis already?
No, I haven't paid Lewis off. I don't know who Lewis is. That's the amazing part about that. I would like to know your answer on that one. Go ahead.
Well, I know that
hold on.
Wendy
I was just told that we have to take a break first.
No. Okay.
But this is good. You told me about suspense earlier. Okay. And this leads people to want to stay tuned and find out your answer. Coming up right after this, we will find out the answer to whatever that question was. I can't remember now. We'll be right back. Back again here with three of the loveliest, most talented, most amazing, most terrific, splendiferous women in the entire city of Madison. Do you like that?
Would you say that if you had men on the show?
Yes, I do say that when I have men on the show. It depends on what men. Although, yes, I'll tell you right now,
there you go.
I did refer to John Urban as the lovely and actually sensual John Urban.
Ah.
So
well,
there you go.
Well, he is.
He is sensual.
Sensual.
Here we go. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go to Dan. What's my buddy Dan? Hi, Dan. Dan's not there. Fine. We'll go to Ben. Ben in Madison. How are you, Ben?
Hello.
Hi, Ben.
Hello.
Hi, Ben.
Natasha, let me start off by saying that you very pretty woman, eh?
Thanks.
Well, that's a comment from Ben. Any comments on that? Wendy? Natasha, pretty woman?
Answer Lewis's question. So
all right, go ahead. You want to do that? Go with it.
I think that, and working for an organization that is owned by a woman, the culture here is very accepting of family. And so it makes it easy for you to juggle work and kids. So, and I think for me, it works better to have, it gives me a balance in my life.
And being somebody who's a spectator watching that, it is interesting, as an example, Rachel Kisko from Channel 27, or Beth Zerbakken, it's almost fun to watch when you see someone who's having a family or who's about to leave a maternity leave. You become part of that. Wow, it's very exciting for you to know that. And I know you two have children who are about the same age, am I correct?
Yeah, we were just talking about that actually. My only is the same age as Katy's youngest. So,
do you think that they'll fight because of the different network thing?
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, good. Just checking.
Kidding. No, really though. What Katy was saying is very true. I think this business, a lot of people seem to think that it's, if you want to have a family, you shouldn't go into broadcasting because it's too competitive and yada yada. And maybe it is at the network level or something. I don't know. I haven't been there, but for me, it's always worked very well. I don't work until the afternoon. I'm home with my son all morning and into the early part of the afternoon, which is great. We get a lot of time together. He's with somebody in the afternoon, and then my husband comes home. Now, seeing my husband is a trick, because we're working opposite schedules. So it's a lot of, he stays up late, or I get up early, or we see each other on the weekend. But generally, it's nice. You get to work it all out, and you get to see them, and you, like Katy says, you get to get out a little bit and do something else, and have a little bit of balance in terms of work and family.
And do you find they watch you?
See, the thing is we talk.
Oh yeah, it's funny when promos come on, and he's like, "Mommy,"
and they still are excited by the fact you're on television.
Yeah.
See, that's
mine aren't.
They're still figuring it out.
No, mine think like everyone's mom and dad is on TV.
Well, I suppose, yeah. See, mine's not quite old enough to. He's still looking at it and going, "You're there, and you're there," and understanding the concept.
My niece is just now at the age where she's embarrassed about the fact that I do television.
Oh, good.
Only because she's grown up enough to realize that she should be. Really quickly, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. Before we get to Natasha's lifestyle, which I'm guessing waking up at about noon.
No, I try to get up early.
Really? Because I call you at 9 a.m. and you're at work, and then you're covering a band like at midnight. You're amazing.
Yeah, I could do without afternoons, actually. I need a nap sometimes.
So we tell the people at home right now that you need afternoons off? Or do you just want to bring a cat?
Yeah, if my boss is watching.
All right, from now on, all of us will be taking afternoons off. That is the new, we've done something.
Siesta.
We've accomplished something on TV. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here, especially Wendy, coming from another network and coming over here. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. It's always a good chance to see Katy.
It is fun to see Katy.
Pals, we like each
It's
other.
just somebody
We're not
likes
going
each
to
other.
fight.
Because Natasha
Not when you're
doesn't care.
kids are
Across the
watching.
table, right?
Thank you to all my guests, and thank you to all the calls we had, except that one guy. And we will see you again, hopefully soon, here on Live Talkback. Thank you. Have a nice night. And remember, if opportunity doesn't knock, fill the door.